Hello, chumps, and welcome, listeners. Christ, what an intro! To
welcome and
mailbag.
listen.
Welcome. Hey, listen up, you. Welcome. Let's dive straight into it. This is from
Mailbag.
Hannah. Listening to the latest episode, you discussed Walton Goggins and his excellent name. Thought you'd like to know he owns an eyewear line called Walton Goggins Goggle Glasses, and it's true.
No way.
Gogginsgoggles.com. Yep, look it up.
Holy crap! I didn't know that.
Okay, they look ridiculous.
Oh, they look so 80s. They're terrible.
Imagine that you were told that a cyborg assassin from the future had been sent to look for you, and it was like, just keep an eye out. You'll know him when you see him. That's what Goggins goggles look like.
They're Macho Man Randy Savage glasses, basically.
I mean, I assume they're for skiing.
They are. They look like ski goggles, only they're glasses.
They're Macho Man glasses.
They're awful. I think they look a bit like Oakley's or something. I hate them.
They're dreadful.
Walton Goggins, I love you.
Love you.
And
Walton Goggins
you
goggle glasses.
And he's
I
given them
saw an article
names
about him this week. Apparently he used some sort of speech to talk about how he was a sex symbol at 55, and someone said to him, someone mentioned his receding hairline, and he said, my hairline's been the same since I was a kid. It was always that.
He's just got that look. You can see.
Yeah.
So the goggles you can get,
lad.
one of them's called Mama's Skillet. One's called Limoncello. One's called Cumulonimbus. One's called La Tortuga. And one is called Blue. So they ran out of names, I guess.
Yeah.
But,
wow.
Did you know it features a modular 10-in-1 customization system as well, complete with adjustable strap, foam inserts?
No.
I mean, it's like the Rolls Royce of glasses.
That's ridiculous.
They're not goggles or glasses. They are goggle glasses.
They are.
Walton Goggins goggle glasses.
Goggins goggle glasses.
Oh my God. The Pidgey brought me a twig. I've got my Pidgeys that I feed. The ones on my windowsill. One of them just brought me a twig as a present. God bless you, Pidgeys. Have a great day.
Is it for you, or are they trying to make a nest on your sill?
Well, he dropped it here, and then he's just going back to eating seeds. So I'd like to.
I
think he looked around my office. He looked around my office and was like,
"Don't move it. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it."
I wouldn't touch it. But what I'm saying is, I think he might have thought, your fucking nest needs some work, mate.
You're going to have a front row seat to some real dirty sex, and then you're going to see pigeons give birth and make a real mess on your windowsill as well.
It's just, they lay eggs. They don't give birth.
They're going to give birth right up.
It's going to be so disgusting.
I don't mind. I always say, any animal that can live alongside disgusting, violent, careless human beings deserves all the respect it can get. And that extends to foxes, rats.
Saw a rat yesterday.
Even a humble fly. I rescued a fly from my sink the other day because I was like, we need flying insects. He'd got a bit of soap on him, so he couldn't get free of the water. So I dried him off and left him there. He was fine.
What kind of fly are we talking?
Just a little house fly.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, shall we move on to this is from Philistine Swine.
Yeah, sure.
I work in a grocery store and have kept an eye out for abandoned lists since it was mentioned on a mailbag. Most are as mundane as you'd expect, but I did find one with nothing but the word sauce! ! On it. Make of that what you will. I do love the idea of someone having go out and get some sauce, maybe? Sauce! And just wrote that down on a piece of paper and took it with them.
Yeah.
I have, however, encountered several people with unusual names, as when they punch in their store rewards phone number, it displays on my screen, unbeknownst to them. Best names encountered so far are Augustus Jimmycum and Dusty McNutt. Those are
Dusty McNutt.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Augustus Jimmycum is a great one.
Jimmycum, yeah. And the final question, do we actually use the term spaff on me minge, or has the internet once again led me astray? I've never heard anyone say.
Spaff on me minge.
Spaff on me minge.
I'm not sure that that's a used one. I mean, it could be, but I doubt it. I mean,
there's a word.
Is that going to get you going much? Like when you're...
Oh, spaff on me minge.
Yeah.
It doesn't work, does it? What if
that's
the Queen
what your mum
said
told me last night.
Somewhere, hey, your mum told me to my mum.
Oh, man.
Do you want to hear about the enshittification of the Triforce podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm aware of it, but keep going.
Okay. So first of all, I saw a subreddit post where someone pointed out that they'd only just noticed that Triforce has an exclamation mark after it, which I had also forgotten. You lads often bang on about, this is from Noah, the enshittification of the internet and how everything nowadays is filled with ads, yet you are all just as guilty in this regard.
It's true.
The Triforce podcast has just as many ads as everything else on the internet. Timeline. This is a timeline breaking down our betrayal of the humble listener. In the early days, there were no ads, and Lewis said, we'll never do a Patreon. Probably 20 episodes later, the Patreon opened up.
Yeah.
Later, we started hearing host read ads.
Hang on.
Go on.
That doesn't sound very accurate. We've done 300 and something 20 episodes, but I'm just saying how many, what was the actual?
Well, I don't know. Someone will know.
Because I don't think we did the Patreon until at least 100 episodes. Yeah.
I don't know. Later, we started hearing host read ads for services like Honey, which turned out to be a massive scam. More recently,
it's true.
Well, we didn't know at the time.
No, we didn't know. More recently, random ads were added to the start and end of the podcast episodes. And now I hear random ads for things like banking services and tourist destinations in the middle of the podcast. So from start to finish, I probably hear, this lad says 8 to 10 ads in one episode. I didn't think
so.
It was that
it depends.
Many.
On
it's
a few
crazy.
things.
I know.
It depends where you're listening.
Yeah.
But money is so tempting and necessary as well. I mean, we need it
for us. Well, okay, different people will hear different levels of ads, and also the platform is it. Obviously, Spotify adds their own ads. So if you're not subscribed to Spotify Premium, you get it's basically unlistable Spotify if you're not subscribed to Premium because there's just so many ads. I went to my parents and they have regular Spotify on their Alexa thing or whatever. It was just non-stop ads. I was like, "Is there when's music gonna start?"
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So it's crazy. I think that. We obviously still do have a Patreon. We don't push it, and we haven't even mentioned it in 6 months. You do get ad free if you're signed up to it.
What if there was like a thing where
Tom does every week tediously upload a separate ad free version, ad free feed to the podcast? If you want to take advantage of that, go ahead. But not many people do. Right. And in fact, so few people did that we had to put ads to the podcast. So I guess it's your fault, is what I'm saying, listener. If you're hearing ads, it's because you don't want to pay enough to support us. And if the reason you're hearing ads is because no one else does want to pay to support us either. So,
no. And why would they? I mean, let's be real here.
Let's be honest.
So that's part of it, though, right? Like it's people.
Here we go.
Are willing to. It's a balance. Everyone's like this.
A thought
right?
is forming on the fly. Everybody pay attention.
Well, I obviously resisted subscribing to YouTube
He's giving birth
Premium
to a disgusting thought on your windowsill.
For a long time. And I think YouTube did the math and they said, right, if we start upping the ads on YouTube Premium, it's going to make people more to normal YouTubers. Like I just started to find that YouTube ads were getting really, really annoying.
Yeah.
And I think YouTube knew that I could afford to subscribe to Premium and was resisting. And so they were trolling me,
This is just like the most recent series of Black Mirror, where the woman has a terrible brain injury and a company says, look, we can help, we can fix her brain. But then they start to have her read ads aloud in her day-to-day life without realizing she's doing it. And they were like, yes, that's our basic package now. If you want the premium package, it's all that kind of gradually scaling it up.
Right, so they fix her brain, but she's just like doing blurbs for ads without realizing it.
She's a teacher. So she's in the middle of class and she's discussing something, and then she suddenly goes kind of robotic, does the ad read, and then goes back to normal. She doesn't even know she's doing it.
Wow.
And there are things like, try so-and-so as your washing powder today. Ask your parents about Kellogg's cornflakes or whatever. So
at the time I watched that, I realized it was a cautionary tale about the current way we live. Right? All of these things are, right? They lean into a thing that's going on in the real world. And this is the thing, the subscription services.
Yeah.
What if it was unfettered? I think that's the whole point of that Netflix episode, right? Because we've all experienced this, and we're all living in a subscription world where we subscribe to a million things. But, there's ads on the podcast. But God, have you ever listened to any other fucking podcast? It's the same. So,
all right. So let's move on before Lulu busts a blood vessel.
I hate it, but I can't do anything about it, actually.
I know.
Because we put all the podcasts through this service, and it's kind of automatic.
The machine has taken over, essentially.
If you do have problems with the specifics of ads or bugs, do just post it on the podcast, because everything gets fed through to Sam and he feeds it back. Like sometimes do you mean
post it on the subreddit?
Yeah.
So that's because I read the subreddit, and I'm like the tech support, and I'm happy to continue to be. I don't mind.
Yeah. All right, we forward a lot of stuff through to Sam.
Of course. So here we go. I've been a listener since the start, but stopped listening for a while. Then when I restarted, I continued where I'd left off chronologically. Long story short, the latest episode I listened to was published in August 2023. I actually enjoy listening this way, as I get to listen to you discuss world news and internet trends with hindsight. E.g., you recently discussed what might happen to the Titan submarine that had lost contact. Obviously, nothing good. It's like a portal back in time.
Yeah, it's
This
true.
means
Yeah.
that if I keep listening in regularly, in roughly 2 years, I will listen to the next mailbag episode you're due to make. I suggest you make a prediction of something that will have happened by the time I listen to your next episode in 2027. When I eventually listen to the episode, I will email back on how closely or wildly inaccurate you are. I hope that makes sense. Happy chin wagging, Ivor. Ivor, let's think about this. Something you want to make a prediction about.
So near future, we're talking
2.5
2 years.
Not that far.
Okay, I reckon. Okay, first of all, deaths. Who's going to be dead?
David Adams.
Charles?
So many people will be dead in the next 2 years.
Yeah, but famous people.
Well, there's so many famous people. A lot of them will be dead too. I'm not saying there's like, something ominous on its way coming. I'm just saying naturally over the course of 2 years, you'd be surprised. Lots of people will die.
So looking at the death list, which is the 2025 death list, the most likely to die. It's a website called deathlist.net. You can look it up.
Right.
Okay.
Dick Van Dyke is top. He's 100.
Dick Van Dyke will be dead within 2 years. Mark my words. I don't want it to be so. But come on, he's 100. There's no way. Dick Van Dyke is not. I think he's in reasonably good health, though.
Sure. Eva Marie Saint. I don't know who that is. Eva Marie Saint.
An actor.
Oh, she's 101. She's very old. She's 100. Sorry. Pete Murray, British radio presenter. Politician Dennis Skinner, is Labour politician, 93.
Wow.
Ian Smith, who played Harold Bishop, he's 87. Esther Ranson is still going, 85. Alan Greenspan, 99, economist. Mel Brooks, he's also 99.
Wow.
Noam Chomsky, 97. Clint Eastwood is 95.
Chomsky's looking every year of 97 now, unfortunately. He looks very
I could
old.
imagine that the trifecta of a very, very wildly different trifecta, Mel Brooks, Noam Chomsky, Clint Eastwood, all gone. I could imagine that.
They're all pretty old, yeah.
Yeah. Yoko Ono, I'm not sure that would be a terrible loss.
She must be like in her 80s now, right?
She is 92, my friend.
Oh my God.
And Attenborough, 99. I'll be honest with you. Come on now. I mean, I love David Attenborough. I hope he lives forever, but let's be real.
Yeah. I think once you're pushing 100, it's,
Buzz Aldrin as well. Robert Duvall is 94. I can imagine that. Oh, Rupert fucking Murdoch. Surely his time is nearly up. This cunt.
Oh my God. So, what else though? Do you think global things are going to happen? Okay, let's have a quick thing. Where's the situation going to be in Ukraine? Right.
I think in 2 years' time.
I think it will be over. And it will not be a peace settlement that Ukraine is happy with, but it's either that or destruction. I think that is certainly one thing. I think that China will have invaded Taiwan at some, or made certainly
within
some
2 years?
extremely bold moves. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
They've built these fucking landing craft. What, you think they're just looking at them? They're fucking drilling and practicing.
What if they do it in 2 years and 1 day, though, and you're wrong?
I'll take that.
Right.
Close enough.
Okay.
I don't know. I disagree with that one completely. I think that they haven't even thing is, Taiwan has all these little islands and things off the coast of China that they haven't even taken. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they could have. I feel like it's it's too obvious, right? They don't need to.
No,
wouldn't the global sort of outrage that would spark be really bad for China?
Do you mean for example, the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, or the potential invasion of Greenland by the United States? They're all up to it.
That hasn't actually happened. But the Russian invasion of Ukraine's been really bad for Russia.
Of course.
Well, hang on. This isn't about discussing what we think about politics. It's what we think is going to happen.
Yes.
So what about the situation?
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think it's going to happen in 2 years' time because I don't think they're ready to deal with a total global meltdown backlash. Maybe in 10 years, but I don't think in 2. That's my opinion, but we'll see.
I mean, I feel like the problem is they control so much of manufacturing that if we just said, we're not going to trade with them, then we would be fucked. And they know that.
Again, let's not discuss this. I just want to know what you think is going to happen in the future.
But that's what I'm saying.
In the next 2 years, for this guy when this guy listens to this episode in 2027, he can laugh at how wrong we were.
I mean, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong about all this.
Or
and
maybe he
I
could
reckon-
nervously laugh about how right we were.
Oh God! Within 2.5 years, we're going to spot. We're going to find very, very,
Doomsday
very
asteroid.
good evidence of either a doomsday asteroid, or I know we've spotted this one planet where we're like, oh, there's probably lots of water there, and there might even be life. I reckon in 2.5 years, we're going to find something that we're like, okay, that proves it. There is definitely life on this planet. That's what I think is going to happen.
Right, you think there'll be some planet with like
Where they're like,
green...
the only way you get this is, whatever.
These
I
are
feel
all,
like we're
these
already
are like
getting that.
really big things, though. These are all really big things. The likelihood of all of them happening, or even some of them happening, I don't know. It's like
All right.
things go
So
slow.
think of
you know?
something mediocre that you think might happen.
I think there's going to be a new Nike shoe within the next 2 years. I think McDonald's are going to try to spice up their menu a little bit in the next 2 years. Let's see. Maybe there'll be some healthier options. Maybe they'll go back to plastic straws. I don't know.
No, I think actually it's going to go the other way. They'll be like, I mean, look how
Do you
effective
think they're
it
going
was
to
at
go
banning.
fully paper?
Well, they banned plastic bags, didn't they? Or at least
Yeah.
put a charge
Who?
on them, and that the government
The
did.
man
They
did.
put
Well,
like a
our
5p.
government did.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
a lot of governments have.
Yeah, but a lot of that's
charge on
getting
plastic
rolled
bags.
back thanks to the rise
10p
of people
and
like
the fucking rest is 70p for a bag for life.
they're charging
Good.
70 cents a bag. It's ridiculous. These bags aren't even any good. Well, hold on a minute. Wait. These bags are no. Hold on. I'm talking. These bags will last you a lifetime. You could fill them up. All kinds of gross.
Depends what you consider a lifetime. I guess.
The rest of Biden's lifetime, which
You
is
can put your
So-
groceries. It's a beautiful word.
he's got to be on the list too. He's pretty old, no?
Did you see? He's old. Did you see the thing where Trump went to talk to some fucking world leader, and he was talking about groceries? He was telling him we have a
Yeah,
term.
that's just
groceries.
recent. That's
He's
just
obsessed
recently.
with
This
this word.
is a Middle East. His tour
Yeah.
of the Middle East.
But did he just learn this word? I
Well,
feel like he
just
just learned it. Where someone
insane.
was like, "I'm gonna get some groceries." Groceries? What are they? Food. Things you buy from the store. A fascinating old-fashioned word. But people still use that word all the time.
Well, I don't think he's ever been grocery shopping before
No,
in his life.
clearly.
So this is
Food just
probably.
appears on a plate. It comes out of a hatch. The little man delivers it. I don't need
Well,
groceries.
no, for him it just comes out of McDonald's. They deployed a mobile
yeah.
McDonald's just for him on this recent
God.
tour.
I tell you
So-
what, it would be worth being president, even if you're not liked, to have a fucking McDonald's just follow you around and just drop off burgers
It's
and fries. Oh,
fucking hard to figure out what's going to happen in the future. If we knew anything,
I
at
think
all
this
when
is
we were-
actually the worst time
You're
in
asking three of the dumbest
history
people
to
ever as
predict
well.
what's going to happen in the future, though. No,
Well,
it
do you think
feels
we're
like
gonna have a big
utter
stock market
chaos
crash?
at the moment.
Do you think who's going to be the richest man in 2.5 years?
Well, probably
Me.
it's probably still Musk, right? Because
It changes quite often.
He's
though,
just
right?
got so much money that it's only just gonna. He can only get more money now. I don't think he can. I mean, he has lost a little bit, but I don't know. He's probably gained it all back, right? Like there's so much pumping going on in the stock market. Like I can't see him losing much. I think he'll only gain. I think it'll probably still be Musk, but could be wrong. I don't know.
well, do you want another email?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right. My boyfriend has been listening to your podcast for as long as you've been doing them. And last year, after much convincing, he got me to listen.
After much convincing,
Yeah. And to be honest, I still don't. This is excellent. So what I love is there's these boyfriends and husbands out there who are saying to their ladies, "Got to listen to this podcast. It's so funny." They're like, "I really don't want to listen to your little podcast." No, trust me, it's really good. And they listen.
Man,
They're like, "Oh God,
I'm
this
just
is
picturing that scene from Pulp Fiction with this guy holding a gun to his girlfriend's head. And, Triforce, motherfucker! Do you listen to it?
A man stopped me outside the office today and said, "I have a diminutive Johnson,"
Nice.
and I was like, "Oh goodness me, that's just perfect." And then the other day, someone did actually yell, "I have a tiny penis," quite loud in the middle of the street
Nice.
at me, which was so it's all sorts. You're out there, and God, I love you. Thank you.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
the
yeah.
reason I'm writing this email is because a few months ago on the podcast, you were talking about bathroom pairing. Do you remember we were talking about how you have toilet twinning or bathroom pairing?
Sure.
It's like a
Sure.
charity thing. Anyway, my university, University of York, big fan of University of York, by the way, and York, was mentioned. Now, my university not only has paired bathrooms, but it also has a famous duck. Did you guys know this?
Is it Howard the Duck?
The duck was called Long Boy, and he became our unofficial mascot. The thing that made him special was his incredibly long neck, hence the name. A student a few years ago decided to make an Instagram account for him, which now has nearly 60,000 followers.
Wow.
His number one fan appears to be the BBC radio DJ Greg James, who, oddly enough, was on the radio this morning when I was reading this email. Sadly, Long Boy was presumed dead last year after he disappeared. A GoFundMe was launched to build a bronze statue in his honor. Not only that, but the university hosted a full funeral for the duck. Greg James himself attended, and there was even a choir. The statue was unveiled at the event. Anyway, the statue lasted about a month before it mysteriously vanished. So someone nicked it. And there is a Wikipedia page for Long Boy. It's a great statue, and he really does have a really lovely long neck.
Just imagine they're like mid-funeral and Long Boy just waddles in, quacking gently. You know?
Very old. In November last year, the statue was removed by the university after significant damage to its right leg. How could you possibly be mean to a statue? It's a gorgeous statue. Who
damaged Long Boy's right leg?
Yeah, that's fucking unbelievable.
That's
yeah, he's got a very long neck. He's fantastic. Rest in peace, Long Boy.
Well, that's a great little mailbag. Thank you. I love that.
Thank you so much.
So remind me of the toilet twinning thing. Is that like...
So basically, I think it's like a charity thing. Well, like, I can't remember why, but you'll have one in like your university, and then there's one in like a place where there's like no running water or whatever.
See.
Yeah.
So you've paid for that toilet. You've fundraised for that toilet. And then there's a sort of, spreading the word. Your toilet is now twinned with one deep in the Amazon jungle.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I like it.
This toilet is twinned with the Quids In toilet in Slough. You can just imagine. Yeah, Quids In, the fame. Did you guys ever have a Quids In in your town?
To Slough,
I don't know what a Quids In is.
Quids In, it's like it used to be. This is back in the day, but it was like a nightclub where all drinks cost £1. We're going back sometime. Yeah, Quids In.
Never heard of it, Quids In.
It's only a matter of time before, people who suffer IBS, there's some sort of subscription-based charity you can take part of that sets up toilets for people all over for only you guys. It's like a lovely, if you're ever in Slough, you got your IBS subscription, you can use the special comfy toilet. Yeah. Oh, God, that would just be heaven. Just imagine. Why is that never caught on? I wonder.
Indeed.
It's a business idea for any of you budding entrepreneurs out there.
Do it. Get on it.
You can have it.
Yeah,
you can have it for free.
You can have that one.
All right, this one is a rant on behalf of the Triforce podcast.
Oh, okay.
So this is a supportive rant, which I appreciate.
Okay.
We don't get many of these, by the way.
No, I just wanted to send an email in to rant about the constant moaning the fan base seems to consist of. It speaks of bigger problems generally that nobody seems to think they have the right to tell people in the public eye their opinions, acting ability, athletic prowess are terrible when they do nothing but sit around doing nothing but be big useless consumers. All right, calm down. You guys have consistently told us, the listeners, that you don't know what you're talking about, and it's just three old men, thanks for that, complaining about shit. And yet I am constantly getting irritated by people thinking they can nitpick and moan after listening to over 300 episodes. If you don't know what you're in for by this stage, then you never will. Do I disagree with some things you talk about? Of course. Do I want to cry about it? No. If you guys want to spend a whole podcast talking about rooms and definitions of spaces, then by all means, this is the Triforce podcast, not the Baby Wants a Bottle podcast.
Wow.
Rant over.
Oh.
Okay, listen up.
Nice.
This is when I come and do this, especially the mailbag. It's kind of like we're brought up on all those little things that A, we've forgotten, and B, we misspoke about, or C, we were uninformed about, or D, we read an urban myth one time about and it was bollocks. And I do want to be called up on these things. Yeah. I do want to be better.
I don't. I'm insanely uninformed, but I do not want to be called up on it either. I want to be able to enter any conversation and just kind of pretend that I know what I'm talking about or guess what I'm talking about. And then people just go, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's got a point. I don't need to be known as a genius or whatever. I just want people to go, and then we can move on,
All right, no good. All right, can I just be right back? I've just got to pop to the loo.
Sure.
Sorry, I'll be right back.
We'll wait, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's just left us in the lurch big time here. I don't know what to do. 26 minutes in as well. Such an awkward time.
It is awkward. This is rude of him, really.
I'm going to play Drop Dutchie today.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks really good.
Yeah, it
looks like a nice one. Do you know if it's available on mobile? Or is
I don't know.
Just...
I was going to get it on Steam Deck. I don't know about mobile yet. It just came out. They might be working on it.
I need to get a Steam Deck.
Yeah, but I mean, so it's not like a it's not like a particularly deep game.
No.
And it's got an element of randomness to it because it's like Tetris. Sometimes you're like, fuck, this tile, I don't know, there's nowhere where it fits, sort of thing. And you harvest resources. I didn't do the tutorial. Like me, you might just dive in.
Yeah, I'm going to.
You can upgrade your cards. Right? I only found this out after like some punishing runs. So you get your cards, and with the resources like wood and wheat and stuff, if you open up your deck list, it'll show you the cost to upgrade your cards.
Right.
And you can do different builds. You can do a build that's based on
Can you do like a full wheat build?
Yeah. So that kind of thing. So you can do. You'll get. You have buildings to just generate resources and runs where there's no enemies, and then there'll be an encounter where you have to fight enemies.
Oh,
and when you defeat them, you get gold for your surviving forces. But mainly, if you don't fight them, it just adds more enemies to the boss at the end of the level.
Yeah.
So you get to the boss at the end of the level, you're like, well, I had an easy run to get here, but now I'm facing like 250 strength enemies. And you have to sort of stack up your units. There's like a rock, paper, scissor thing there. There's a decent amount to it, but the main thing is the different builds you can do. You could do like a gold build where you have buildings that create more units for you based on how much gold you've generated that round. And yeah, it's fun. It's not super deep, but it is just a nice, satisfying thing. And it has the nice physical element of the actual Tetris style, rotating and slotting the shapes in and stuff. So yeah, it's quite satisfying.
I played a game yesterday called Cash Cleaner Simulator, which is a money laundering game.
Good God.
You're in a room and you just launder money, but you get you can buy like a washing machine because sometimes the money's dirty, like physically dirty. So you have to wash it. You can get like a dryer to dry and stuff. So like you'll get like a contract and there'll be like a specification, like $10,000 in like these denominations, packed in a duffel bag. But the money has to be clean, dry, and no counterfeit. So you got to use like a UV light to check the money and stuff. It's pretty dumb, but it was pretty fun. It's kind of like you can tell they spent a lot of time on like the sound of the money coming out of the money counter machine and stuff. Like it feels really good to load up the the money counter and just like watching it flip.
I'll be honest with you.
Joined?
That sounds like the most boring game ever.
It is really boring, but it is fun somehow as well. Yeah, don't knock it till you tried it. I would try it. You'd probably love it.
I can't do those games. I know you like them where it's like, here,
mundane
Power Wash Simulator. There's just no way.
Oh, man, Power Wash Simulator is great too. It's so satisfying. You do like a full, like deep clean. Oh man, it's great.
I did enjoy the trading card game. That was quite funny, running the shop and selling the cards.
Yeah, and then doing a card collection at the same time. That's a nice one. That. Yeah, it's good.
All right. This email is from Jacob. I am a microelectronic engineer with a micro penis.
Nice.
I'm sure that you, and especially Lewis, know this. Silicone, the polymer used in everything from cookware to breast implants, is derived from silicon, the crystalline semiconductor with which I work. My biggest pet peeve is when society at large conflates the most valuable element to modern society, silicon, with a lump of plastic jammed in someone's arse simply because of an etymological mishap, which is silicone.
Right.
So they're two different things. So silicon and silicone.
Right.
Apparently Jacob needs us to know the difference. Apologies.
I didn't even know that. So there you go. Thank you so much. I feel like that's something that you know when you need to know it, though.
But silicone does have silicon in it.
Yes, no, it's made from it. Yeah, apparently.
Silicone is processed.
What's the complaint?
Silicon.
Remind me of the complaint.
So you've got silicone, which is a polymer, typically colorless oils or rubber-like substances. Silicones are used in sealants, adhesives, lubricants, medicine, cooking utensils, blah, 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 blah. Silicone is often confused with one of its constituent elements, silicon, but they are distinct. Silicon is a chemical element, a hard, dark gray semiconducting metalloid, which in its crystalline form is used to make integrated circuits like chips.
Yeah.
So silicone is very different, and confusing the two is annoying to this writer.
So people say
silicone
chips.
implants.
And people
But it's silicone implants, not silicone.
They say silicon implants. They say silicone chips.
No, it's silicon chips and silicone.
I know what it is. I'm saying what do people say?
So Lewis, it's silicone implants and silicone chips.
Silicon implants.
I've never heard anyone
say sometimes.
I'm assuming
incorrectly.
people get. Are you saying that people are being confused by two similar sounding words that both contain silicon?
No, silicone is the implant.
Right, let's move on.
And silicon is the chips.
You're a silly cunt.
Silicon, we move on from this conversation, please.
Of
Oh my
course. He just got very angry. All right, here's an email. Dear, this is a really long one, okay? But
can you condense it down into make it a really short one and a good one?
I can try, but it's it's a lot. Just, you know what?
Is it ranty?
It's much too long. It's about Wisconsin.
Okay.
And this was meant to be the final Wisconsin email.
Right.
Okay.
This was the one.
He says in Mailbag 15, this is June of 2023 was when we were complaining about Wisconsin. So 2 years ago, I said no more Wisconsin emails, but if it's exceptional, I'll read it. So this lad thinks it's exceptional, but it is far too long. Shane, email in with this concise version of this email about camping in Wisconsin and how terribly it went. It's too long. And then we'll read it out. All right. But please, it's got potential there to be the final.
Paste
email.
it into ChatGPT and tell them to summarize it into one paragraph.
I'll do that right now. All right. Okay, that is a good idea. I hate AI, but you know, I hate a long email even more. I need you to summarize an email for me into a single paragraph, please.
I can't wait to see what this does. How long is it going to take the AI to do this?
It'll be instant.
A second. Here's a single paragraph summary of the email. All right, hold on. Wow. Shane recounts a disastrous camping trip to the tip of Wisconsin with 4 friends, marked by a miserable 12-hour drive filled with discomfort, a toll booth accident, and the death of their playlist. Upon arrival, their overpacked gear and misleading campsite directions led to a treacherous, exhausting hike in extreme heat, revealing the trail was twice as long as advertised. Misfortunes continued with lost teammates, an eerie encounter with a child, and the ultimate failure to reach their destination. After a demoralizing retreat, their beer supply was destroyed, they barely found lodging, and discovered they were in a dry county. The group ended the trip smoking weed by a highway and swore never to return to what Shane dubs Wisconsin, pleading for the topic of Wisconsin to be permanently laid to rest. Thank you. That was excellent.
Incredible. What? I'm going to add that one to my watch list and probably get around to it after I'm done season 2 of Andor or something. You know, that's perfect, man. That is so
Walton
good.
Goggins is going to play Shane as well. Did you know?
Jesus.
Great. He's going to have the Goggins.
He's going to go have the Goggins goggles on.
The problem with these huge tech companies is they don't just want your money. They want to know everything about you. Shadowy data brokers make a living compiling detailed profiles of your online activity and selling them to marketeers and other corporate interests that want to control you with targeted ads. They're not selling a product, they're selling you. But you don't have to let them. There is a way to keep your browsing history truly private, and I use it every day. It's an app called ExpressVPN.
One of the easiest ways for data brokers to track you is through your device's unique IP address, which also reveals information about your location. With ExpressVPN, your IP address is hidden. That makes it much more difficult for data brokers to monitor, track, and monetize your private online activity.
You can be safe with ExpressVPN, which reroutes 100% of your traffic through secure encrypted servers, so ISPs can't see in at night.
Luckily, ExpressVPN is extremely easy to use. You just fire it up, you click one button, and you are protected. Works on all devices, phones, laptops, tablets, and more. And you can stay private on the go. I've got it on my phone, and I use it all the time when I'm on some dodgy Wi-Fi.
Yes, ExpressVPN. I use it. We all use it when we're browsing, and we like to keep what we're doing secret and safe. So protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/Triforce. That's expressvpn.com/Triforce, and you get an extra 4 months for free. expressvpn.com/Triforce. Attention Triforce listeners, there's a message from your legs. The hot weather is here and they've been trapped in long trousers all winter long. It is time to free them with some new shorts from Chubbies. Chubbies sent me a pair of their everywhere shorts. I don't normally like wearing shorts, but they were really comfortable, and also, amazingly, because they're like slightly elasticated, they fit me perfectly. I couldn't believe it. I think they're great. So it's time to make waves of confidence and compliments of pure summer joy. Throw on on the Chubbies Everywhere shorts and enjoy your summer adventures with zero responsibilities. So whether you're getting dressed for your workday, a workout, or a weekend getaway, Chubbies has you covered. For a limited time, Chubbies is giving Triforce listeners 20% off their orders with code TRIFORCE at chubbyshorts.com. That's code TRIFORCE at chubbyshorts.com. Support the show and tell them we sent you. Don't blend in with the crowd. Stand out with Chubbies. Let the thighs out. Let the good times roll. On with the show.
So here's an email about targeted ads, going back to the ads topic from earlier.
Can we do a summary on this one too?
It's not very long.
Oh.
So I just thought this was interesting. It's something that perhaps we don't think about when it comes to targeted ads. I always think targeted ads, I'll be talking about something and then an ad targets me and says, perhaps this answers your problem. And I'm like, actually, that's a really good idea. But there is a counterpoint to that. This is with much love from a listener. If I'm an alcoholic / gambler / addict, and these companies know that via the data they have, why can they then proceed to send you specific ads targeting this vulnerability? That is a very good question. Because if you are someone who is having trouble with gambling and emails things like Gamblers Anonymous and all that often, the keyword gambling means you are going to have more adverts for gambling shoved your way. So yeah, I think that's quite interesting. I'm not sure quite.
I mean, in some
that.
cases, you'll go to a site where, or use a service where their primary sponsor is a gambling site or company or whatever, and that you don't even have any control over, right? You're just going to be fed that ad regardless.
Yeah.
But this is the more targeted ones. You're saying they're saying they shouldn't be targeting people based on. But they are going to see these ads anyway, regardless of whether they're targeted or not.
They are, but I feel like if you think about the deliberate targeting of people with ads, I'm sure the algorithm isn't thinking, a drug addict, well, they love drugs. We should hammer them with ads for drugs.
Yeah, but no,
it just thinks, they are interested in this word.
And part of it as well will be, we have ads targeted, but we are also responsible for serving up X amount of ads for this sponsor or whatever.
Right.
So you will just get them regardless. I don't think there's a way
to
get around it.
It is tough.
I think there's a lot of factors here. We talked about many of them, but it's to do with the difficulty of drawing that line, right? Of legislating what is appropriate and not appropriate, right? And also the algorithmic nature of things is that these days people who do ads know exactly how effective they are very quickly on the internet. It used to be that you post a billboard and you wouldn't have any idea how effective that would be. But now the reason mobile game ads are so, or at least were so, abundant, were because they worked, right? Like those games would post an ad. It would cost them £1,000. They'd make £2,000 just from the clicks on it. So they post another one because it was printing money, right? It was so easy. And so this is how a lot of these situations work, right? And if you can target your ad to make money, unless someone comes in from where we live in an internationalized society as well, where one government can't necessarily control ads on Reddit, and it means that if it's no one's responsibility, it's too much trouble.
Well, there are some like high level overarching laws around advertising as well. Like for example, cigarettes are not advertised like they used to be. Remember, like Formula One cars used to have all the big cigarette brands on them and stuff, and there used to be ads for cigarettes all the time. You're not allowed to advertise cigarettes at all anymore, as far as I know. I could be wrong about this, but I don't think they're advertised.
Not in the UK.
And even now, all their packaging has to clearly display all the,
more than that. I don't know if you've noticed.
Everywhere,
you can't see them behind the counter, dude.
Yeah,
like they're behind
it's all covered. Even at the airport now, you have to go into that special section to see it. And then when you go in there, you feel like you're in some slaughterhouse or something. Because the packaging is so fucking awful. Yeah, it is. It is.
But there's not even branding on the pack.
Like gums and shit.
So like a pack of Marlboro doesn't have that signature, the red sort of shape with the white triangle and all that. That's gone. Now, when you go to buy it, it's just the branding about how awful it is for you. and it's hidden away. I assume it's working because
they've tried to do all sorts of things around. In the UK, around advertising, say junk food, like past a certain time.
Yeah.
Stuff with lots of sugar in it. There's limitations on how they can advertise it now as well. But these things apply also to advertising everywhere, like not just. I think it's.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's in the UK. You're still seeing an advert for McDonald's on a Saudi Arabian van. Do you know what I mean? Like on the news.
Sure, yeah.
There's adverts like the news is 90% adverts.
Van. When am I seeing the van?
Where was the Trump's thing when he went to Saudi Arabia and he got his mobile McDonald's? They're like, you can't. We live in a world where TikTok is. Adverts are innocuous and insidious, right? They're 90% you don't realize they're an ad in the first place. They're just a joke or something funny. Ads are viral now. Advertising agencies are not about the obvious ones, right, in front of you. Yes, you can't directly advertise cigarettes, but they find ways to do it. And they used to find ways to do it. Like they'd make the villain or the cool guy smoke it in a movie. Like even today, cigarette companies have very clever ways to promote cigarettes without you realizing it. And look at the vapes, right? Like it's always changing, right? Vapes aren't advertised, but they clearly are somehow the way they work, and it's all happening in the shadows. That there is a very strong advertising standards agency here in the UK that we have to follow very careful guidelines for, and they've come down very hard on influencers. And in fact, now it's the case that if you receive anything, so for example, like Nintendo asked us to come down the other day to London and see their Switch 2. And they said, we'll pay for you to come, but we expect a video on your channel in return for coming and getting a look at the Switch 2. And I said to the guys the agency promoted, I said, I could see that there were some channels who think this would be good, but this is effectively just a brand deal where we don't get paid. We have to say it's an ad because we're getting travel money to go there. It's effective. We have to declare it as an ad in the thumbnail and in the video description, even though we're not getting paid. But in fact, it's even worse than that. Like if we get sent a key to a game, that is an ad in the UK. We now have to declare that as an ad. So a lot of us here in the Yogscast are refusing keys and buying the games ourselves, so we don't have to declare a game that we want to play as an ad, right? Because we don't want to run afoul of these rules, and these rules are quite strict because they've been flouted for so long by so many influencers not declaring it, not thinking they have to declare it, and so much goes untracked. There are so many ads that are not marked as ads, and it's everywhere, right? It used to be, classic examples would be in James Bond movies or in episodes of The Office. There'll be an advert for Subway in Community, right? And that's an advert. But you are not told. It doesn't come up on the screen at the time. It's not even in the credits sometimes. But it's ubiquitous. You're being advertised to all the time in insidious ways. Trump is advertising a fucking Tesla on the White House lawn.
Tesla.
This is the world we're living in.
Tesla.
Get a Tesla. It's a lot of computers. It's got wheels. Apparently, it's something called a car. We have cars now. You can put your groceries in the trunk.
Hold on. Sorry. So that's my rant.
Hold on a minute. That's my parking spot.
At least the shit.
Handicapped parking spot. I don't have a blue badge. I'm the president. Executive order says I can park here. Oh, well, wait a minute. I always park here. It's my spot. All right, let's move on.
At least the adverts on our podcast are actually fucking adverts. All right.
Yeah. I would like to know if a famous person was to ask to come on the podcast as a guest appearance, would you let them? And if yes, who is the least famous person you would let on?
The least famous person?
Yeah. So how far down the ladder of fame would we go? So that's the point. We don't do guests very often at all, like if ever, really. But let's say that someone famous got in touch and was like, you know what, I don't want to blow you guys trumpets too hard or whatever, but I'm a big fan of the podcast and I'd love to come on if you'll have me as a guest. And it was like fucking Steven Spielberg or something. We're going to get him on.
Yeah,
All
I
I'm
don't
saying
know.
is,
It's so hard
how
now.
far down the ladder would you accept?
I feel like nowadays you have to filter out so many people, like I wouldn't,
Right.
I would just want like somebody that I kind of know and already sort of like, and somebody who's just going to talk about like games or something, you know what I mean? Like I would hate to have somebody on who talked about something really serious.
So we wouldn't
because
get
I think it would
Chomsky on,
Yeah.
having mentioned him earlier.
Yeah,
Bit serious, but I'm
it
saying
would be too serious.
we could just think of a guest, perhaps they're like a comedian or a film star or a musician or
Yeah.
something. What is the least famous person that would be like, yes, it'd be worth having them on? Whereas someone, maybe a little too like that we'd just be like, I don't even know who this person is. So we just need to think of the lowest level of famous that we would have on as a guest.
What are you talking about? The fame is different to how it was nowadays. There's no A, B, C list or whatever. People can be famous in their own way that you've never heard of. Like, name the biggest YouTuber.
Mr. Beast.
PewDiePie.
No, PewDiePie is like 10 years ago. I think it's Mr. Beast
No, I
now.
thought he's still like, I think he's in the top 10 of most watched things.
He's in
That
the top
kid that
10, but
does
I
those
think he's like
unboxing
number
ones.
10 now. Like he's being pushed down, I think.
I mean, Mr. Beast is surely the most famous YouTuber in the world right now.
All right, he is the biggest. Fair enough. But like, all right, name the second biggest. Apart from like the Coco Melons and the T series and all that shit.
All the
That kid that opens up stuff.
oh yeah, what was that
It's-
guy? Ethan opens or Ethan plays or whatever. I don't know if he's that big. I think second.
Well, he's a little older now.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah. Second biggest. I have no clue.
It's
Yeah, but
impossible.
Oh,
I don't watch YouTube that much.
No,
All
I
right,
don't
and
either.
I'm just-
To be honest, I don't really watch YouTube.
Mr.
at all.
Beast is number
name
one.
the biggest TikTok star. Like, but these people could be hugely famous.
The biggest
right?
TikTok
And
star
we wouldn't
is
know them.
probably Asian.
Right, but hold on. I'm not asking you to name specifically the most
But
famous of
to
this or
a
something.
different person,
Or I'm not asking you to name
different people
some...
at different levels of famous.
Right, but mate, I'm not asking you to name someone you don't know. That's a ridiculous question.
So
It's a
so
very
what
simple
you're
question.
basically
the least
asking
famous
us.
I'll
person
narrow
you
it
can
down
think
for you.
of that you'd be
I'll
willing to
So
narrow
bring
it
you're
on
down
a
asking
for
the
you.
most famous people to us.
No,
on the
I'm
podcast.
saying let's imagine, and to narrow it down so it doesn't get into a big thing. Think of someone that's famous in the UK, like for example, a fucking somebody off Strictly Come Dancing. There you go.
I don't know anyone on
Len's
Strictly Come
Lens or
Dancing.
whatever. We get
I
Len
don't know
on.
who that is.
You don't know who Len is.
Ben Fogel.
So,
No.
that guy.
No idea. Never
Do you
watched the
know who
show.
Ben
Ben
No idea who
Fogel
that
Fogel.
is?
Have you heard of Ben Fogel?
I heard of Ben Fogel. I have heard of
Okay,
him.
would you have Ben Fogel on the podcast?
He's like, I'd say he was like just about, he's like D-list, C-list, D-list celebrity.
I think Ben would be upset to hear that.
Yes, I think he would.
Do you know what? Yeah, I'd get Ben Fogel on the podcast.
Great. Well,
But-
I've
but
got
is he the
have I got
lowest
good
level
news for
that you would
you.
go?
I've laid on Ben Fogel being on next week's podcast.
Is his wife all right with that?
Well, I think she wants to also
off my husband!
get off my Fogel.
Ah.
I really thought this
So-
was a very decent and straightforward
We're thinking
question.
of the least
I don't know
famous,
why it's angered you
famous
so
UK
greatly.
celebrities.
Lewis is just
It's very
overcomplicating
simple.
it.
Like, for example, one of the ladies from Mel and Sue, either Mel or Sue, you know?
Are we
we'd
thinking
have
like
them on.
people like a former Blue Peter presenter?
Exactly.
Or
Now
like
you're
a fucking right, or like a
Like
Love Island
like
contestant.
a kid's like a child presenter or something, like Mr. Tumble, like people that are kind
I
of
wouldn't have that fucker on. No chance.
you wouldn't have
What
you
about
wouldn't have
I
Chris-
hate
Chris
Mr.
Packham?
the
Tumble.
voice.
I know you do.
Just did
The
that.
the voice
Move
of
on.
Shaun the Sheep you wouldn't have on. You're
Get him
unbelievable.
off. Get him off.
You are a monster.
What about like
Daddy Pig. Get Daddy Pig on.
Isn't Daddy Pig voiced by? Oh no, it's not. One of the Peppa Pig
He's a Welsh
characters
comedian.
is voiced by Brian Blessed, though. I think it's.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember which one it is.
I think it's like
So Daddy
Grandpa
Pig is,
Rabbit or something. He has a boat and
is-
he's just absolutely screaming his head off the whole time.
We could get absolute zero lists, like the kind of Buzzcocks level celebrities, on who are, they were like the drummer in a band you've heard of. He's like, oh, the
Phil Tufnell.
I don't know, stuff like that. Yeah, like presented a home in the sun or whatever. You know? And
Richard Ridings is the voice of Daddy Pig.
Richard Ridings.
Yeah.
Again, two. I think I have to have heard of him, and that doesn't count, right?
Fair enough.
I think we all have to have heard of this person for them to be
Greg Wallace.
Mick Hucknall.
Too famous and cancelled.
Too famous and cancelled.
Russell Brand. We're not Reform UK. Russell Brand. We can't have Russell Brand on ever.
No.
Bill Cosby.
Too famous and a rapist. Bill Cosby. Stop naming
either
rapists.
in jail or heading to jail. They're not podcasting anymore.
By 2027, Russell Brand will be in jail.
Gary Glitter.
Okay. Rolf Harris from the grave. Who else?
We need comedians. We need like the kind of people on the Adam Buxton podcast.
We don't need comedians on. We don't need people that are going to show us up.
Epstein.
The only thing,
Get him on.
The only
Talk
thing
about
we
the
got
island.
is
P. Diddy. R. Kelly.
Jesus Christ.
Adam Johnson.
This fucking list, man. What is wrong with people? Why are they doing these things? Why are they like this?
Okay. You know, I love the Adam Buxton podcast.
Yeah,
right?
me too. I love it.
So obviously Louis Theroux, great, huge guest. He'll be like an A-list guest.
There's no possible way in any universe that Louis Theroux is talking on this podcast.
Coming on the podcast.
Or anyone even remotely famous or successful.
I know.
Exactly.
Hang on, let me keep going. Richard Ayoade, no way. Okay.
Yeah, but you're listing.
I would
we
like
can't
to have
start
him
at the
on,
top
but-
and work our way down. We'll be here all day. Start at the bottom.
But then he's got two celebrities I've never heard of. Kate Mossman.
I don't know
Who
who
is that?
that is.
She's the male version of Kate Moss.
Rob Burley.
Right.
Who's that? Dame Mary Beard. Kiel Smith Bino. Kim Deal.
Kim Deal is the bass player for the Pixies.
Serious?
I'd have Kim Deal on.
She's a legend. Kim Deal is one of my all-time favorite musicians.
She used to play bass for the Pixies. She's in the Breeders. Her and her
Well,
sister.
I'd never heard of her, so she's out, right?
Okay.
Tasha Dimitriou.
Yeah,
You heard of
that's
her?
what's his face's sister. She's in What We Do in the
Staff Let's
Shadows.
Flats, What We Do in
Yeah,
the Shadows.
she's also in
fantastic.
Staff as well. She's
She's
hilarious.
She is
Listen to the
brilliant.
episode when she's on Adam Buxton's podcast. I think she's only been on once, but it's
I think she's
fucking
been a couple times,
hilarious.
actually.
She is
She's brilliant.
actually
I
so
absolutely
funny.
love her. Yeah, she's brilliant.
She is good. All right. Yeah, go listen to that podcast. It's just better
Yeah,
than
it's
this
better
one,
than this
honestly.
shit. Lewis misunderstands a simple question.
Just, do you see what I mean? Though, like, he's got people like Werner Herzog.
Yeah, well,
and then-
his podcast is doing really well.
Yeah,
right?
but then
he's
he's got people
super
we've never
famous.
heard of.
He's
Like,
also
do you see what I'm saying? Though?
like fairly established too. Like he's been famous for a long time. Adam Buxton.
Also, he's
so.
like real world famous. He's not internet famous. He's
he
been on
is.
TV and shit.
He's been
you know
on
what I
TV.
mean?
He's done voice work for TV shows, all sorts. He's like,
All right, do you want to hear? This is outside the mailbag. This is a new feature called Outside the Mailbag. This is a comment on Reddit. Lulu really on one in Mailbag 54.
Right.
Are you too angry to hear this, Lulu? Or do you want me to
No,
give you a nice
I'm
email?
chill. I'm actually chill.
he is pissed
I'm
right off.
actually fine.
He's blown
No,
a
no.
gasket. He's
I just the reason that we were looking at that podcast was because I think it was like it gave us a benchmark of what we could get. Right?
We couldn't get any of them.
realistic.
We couldn't get any of them.
We couldn't get any of them.
Not
Okay.
one, not even one. Okay, this is really an angry email, a message on Reddit about you. Are you sure you want to hear it?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
All right, you're
Hit
a
me.
bold fellow. I mean, just to give you some whatchamacallit background. Someone says, "Don't mailbag this. Poor Lewis gets bullied enough, and Pyrian can't help but read these ones." And then someone said, "Lamal valid," and I said, "Oh, this is getting talked about." So Lewis's take on AI is just passivism.
right.
A whole bunch of smoke blown about how we can't stop it, etc., without any mention of the negative effects and plenty about his perceived positives. I don't remember the conversation that way, I must say. For someone who claims to be an environmentalist, we really glossed over the gross environmental impact just to be excited about replacing voice actors and audiobook readers. Again, I don't think we were saying that was a good thing, were we? I thought that quite conclusive. We were saying it's inevitable and it's just going to happen.
Yeah, we
Isn't
were
that the
saying that
case?
it's a shame that it will probably happen.
I think there's a certain I think I agree with this. I think there is a certain with me a feeling of giving up around the fact that it's impossible to resist. I think that I don't trust that the governments of the world will do anything about it. And I think, they don't know what to do. God, they don't even really understand the internet.
No.
It's a load of old white men who don't even look at who's in charge, everyone. Computers, groceries. It's a great word. Like he's I just don't believe that anything's I'm trying to be realistic about the situation. And I don't think hoping that the government will fix it is the answer. But I think they're the only people who can, because everyone else is just greedy.
They are so much slower than the tech bros at the forefront of this wave of bullshit.
Yeah, our government systems were set up for a world that was hundreds of years ago.
And very
it's
slow
not
moving.
agile. Yeah. And it's run by a gerontocracy. It's old men.
I mean, do you remember the TikTok thing where the guy was like, if I have TikTok on my Wi-Fi, if it's on my phone and I use it, can it access my Wi-Fi? And he's like, yes. Well, this is unacceptable.
I fucking love those questions from people.
They're so good.
They're so funny.
So if I take my phone and I upload a video on TikTok, it's on TikTok. Like, everyone could see it. Yes, that's exactly how it works.
But here's the other
thing. This is an invasion of privacy.
Here's the other thing I know that ties hand in hand with that. Major change causes major problems. And I want the world to carry on. And I think that on the back of the threat of things like the terrifying spectre of nuclear war, is it worth changing the way we make the world in order to stop AI? Probably not, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm just waiting for it to take over. I've given up. I'm like, it's going to take over. I'll be nice to it.
I have a very negative outlook.
AI,
but I think
if you're listening, I've always been a fan.
I'm your number one fan.
Yeah. Basically, put me in charge of rounding up the non-believers. I'll happily do it.
Don't get me wrong. Like the fact that Google search has been replaced by an AI is frightening stuff. But I'm a fucking idiot, guys. I'm
I don't know when people
charge.
expect us to have a solution.
I'm like an absolute penis. I know nothing, right? I'm just repeating garbage that I've been half learned for the last 40 years. And don't listen to me. I might be a doomsayer, but I'm also very ignorant.
But he's also a puss slayer.
I think there's a lot of things that you can just choose not to use as well. You don't have to use most of this stuff or any of this stuff, really. Like if you have a big problem with it, the thing is most people don't have a problem with it because most people don't even notice it changing or whatever. A lot of it is seamless.
Yeah.
The fact that Google is now Google search is AI now, nobody would have noticed that unless you're interested in AI and you keep up to date with the news. But the average person is not doing that. They don't,
and listen,
they don't care.
Like,
they just want to go on their phone and say, my shit looked weird today. What's wrong with me? And as long as that still works, they'll never question it. They're happy.
And
with
I'm
it.
the same. I'm
Most
like, yeah, I'm
people
an
are. It's not.
I don't want the planet to catch fire and there's plastic to pollute all the rivers, but I'm also
I'd say the vast majority of the population doesn't look into this stuff. I feel like people who look into this stuff and they're in a bubble where other people are looking into this stuff or whatever, it's very easy for them to convince themselves, like, oh shit, everybody knows this. But no, you talk to an average person and they will just give you a blank stare like, what are you talking about? No, not a lot of people bother to delve into a lot of this stuff and look into it.
I have great respect to people who go out there and protest and force change and make change.
Yeah,
I think that it does wear you down, and I have recently been very depressed about it. And I think burying my head in the sand is often, I would like to cut myself off from this stuff and go and live on a fucking boat, in the middle of the ocean, away from it all. It's fire me to Mars. Do you know what I mean? Like it is frightening. And yes, I also understand that the world is getting better and things are improving and the trajectory is good. And I know that people are good natured by their most people want positive change. And I think that is the general direction that the world's going. And I think from day to day, it doesn't feel that way. And it's very depressing. But at the same time, like, we don't really know. Like, there is this great fear that AI is going to cause all these problems. But I don't know. I think that's the thing. I think the prevailing sentiment is that, is it really that bad? Is it really worse than what we've got? Is it, sometimes these things replace things, and it's a good thing. Yeah, it's frightening.
Do you want? Shall we end on one email?
It would just be good if they would spend as much time and effort and money on some of this stuff, making people be able to just live normally and not in total poverty all the time. You know what I mean? They spend so much effort and time and money on all this shit. And you just think, wouldn't it be great if just everybody was paid a living wage, regardless of the job that they, work on that one, spend some time and work on that one, and then maybe people would just feel a little tiny bit better about things.
Here's the thing, Sips, you need to understand as well.
Get him out the podcast.
Here's the thing that you don't want to hear. And this is how the rich think, like Elon. If he gives all his money to the poor and elevates all those poor to live a decent standard of living, suddenly they're going to be creating a lot more pollution. By keeping the poor, they're not.
Who's thinking that?
Creating plastic waste. They're not using aircon. They're not using electricity. They're not using computers. Whatever.
Who's thinking that?
The rich, they've always thought this way.
No, they don't give a fuck about the environment.
What
are you talking
about? Serfs. But in the back of their mind, they think it's good.
No, they just love money and power. I don't think they give a shit about.
It's back at the days of kings and peasants.
Yeah, but the king wasn't like, we can't have all these plastic bottles around here. This is ridiculous.
No, but it was different then. If you had an educated middle class who were consumers, then they would be more likely to rise up. It would be better to keep them all in the dirt.
Yeah, I guess.
Keep everyone in the dirt.
Yeah,
it's always been the way. It's the way of kings, and we have kings now. I
don't think that they're thinking about consumption and the environment. I think they are definitely thinking, we don't want people to be political anymore and to have... so here's an example. I'm watching the Bob Dylan movie, the Timothée Chalamet one. It's a really good movie. And it struck me that there isn't a movement these days united by music that has a purpose.
Yeah.
It's people are united by music that they enjoy, which is fine. I'm the same. But there used to be musicians out there and musical movements that were based on protest.
Yes.
And now that's seen as kind of out of date, despite the fact that I think we need it now as much as we ever have. So to me, the problem is that we have all been given this sort of pacifier, if you like, of the internet and streaming, and there's so much to do in your free time.
Society's
so much to be
fractured.
To.
It's not the same. Everyone is doing their own little niche.
Society's always been fractured.
Not to this extent. Not to this extent. You can go and get a little Discord for your hobby and have celebrities and TV shows and music that only you and your little groups listen to. It's so fractured. You can speak to someone who is your age in your group and they will name celebrities you don't know. They'll name TV shows you've never seen or heard of. They'll name movies you've never seen or heard of. They will name music you've never seen or heard of. And that is the reality that the world. It used to be everyone watched the same things. They had the same exposure. They had relatively few sources of entertainment. And so, yes, the only way to listen to folk music was tied in with that movement, with the climate and the caring and the green movement, right?
Yeah.
Now, it isn't that, right? You can get rap music that is nothing to do with where it came from. Right.
Yeah.
And you can have no idea of the history and the culture of it and be a fan. And the world is different. It's a blended mixture. You can have people living in weird places, in North Korea who are, fans of Manchester United. It's that weird.
They fucking deserve that season. Fuck you, North Korea. You guys are one of the worst teams in the Premier League. Hope you love it. Hope you're loving this season as much as I am.
We struggle as 40-year-old men. We
Let me just
struggle.
pull up the table. I want to look at it again just to see this glorious Premier League table. Oh, I'm salivating just at the thought of it.
I know. I didn't see them for you to the bottom, actually. Anyway, there is still some culture that we share. But it's like, as 40-year-old men, the world has changed from the world we grew up in and we think we know. But think what that's like for the 60 or 70-year-old leaders. Their world has changed twice, right?
Yeah.
And they have no concept of what it's like. They're detached, and also they're trying to just live and like survive and get through it, you know, and they've got their own shit going on. Everyone's got their own shit going on. They got fucking IBS, and they've got, you know, they've got the TikTok, connects to the Wi-Fi. They've got, you know,
IBS.
their
I'm
mistress.
not laughing at people with IBS. I'm aware it's a real problem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, everyone's got all of these like ping pong balls bouncing around in their head, and it is hard to.
Well, can I make? You know what? Here's a little piece of free, unsolicited advice. I uninstalled TikTok last week, and it was a great thing, and you should all do it. I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday on the podcast.
You did, yeah, you mentioned it.
Uninstall TikTok. It will improve your brain. Genuinely, get rid of it. It's absolute junk.
I've tried. I've tried. I'm doing it bit by bit. I blocked Reddit the other day for a week.
You blocked Reddit for a week.
Yeah.
I just want to say, when people say I should quit smoking, but then they won't give up things like TikTok, I'm just saying it's not as easy as you think to give something up that you do every day. Of course it's not.
And everybody struggles with things differently as well, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's something like smoking is tied into lots of other, well, maybe like TikTok as well. Like if you're spending a lot of time on TikTok, it may be,
get rid of it.
It may be something that you're doing to procrastinate doing something else, or hide from something else, or mask your feelings or something like that. But I mean, smoking and other addictions are the same, you know, playing too many games, like they're all the same, right? It's all escapism to some extent, you know. You just don't want to have to deal with something that you find painful or something, or even subconsciously you're not thinking about it very often, but you know, your brain is just like, I need to do this or
we are all addicted to things.
We are,
and you can't help it. It's just monkey brain stuff. You don't feel bad.
That's why, by the way, I am addicted to quite a few things. One of them, I don't need people to keep messaging me on Instagram about this. I am aware that you guys can see all the thirst traps that I follow on Instagram. I'm well aware of it. I do not care. If I cared, I would have a burner account. Yes, I follow a lot of very hot ladies on Instagram.
Fine.
I enjoy it. If you have a problem with it, don't follow me on Instagram. But I do not need to be told about it. I am well aware. Thank you.
But what I'm saying is that, you know, don't feel bad that you struggle with things you're addicted to. Feel good when you resist them. That's all. That's
talking
my
of addictions.
Bullshit bit of
we're going to have to end this podcast. So all the Triforce
I'm addicted to this
there,
podcast. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't dare ending it right now.
We're doing our best to break that addiction by being so miserable and talking about politics this week.
Yeah, we did.
Depressing. Well, people bring these topics up. It's only fair we talk about it.
I mean, it does
the world
happen.
we live in.
It does, yeah. And especially in the past couple of months, it's been even more so. There's been lots going on, right? So I think we've actually done really well to not talk about a lot of it.
Yeah, try and be positive, people. It's been a crazy period we live in.
It's been a crazy millennium, in all honesty.
The best thing you can do is be good to one another. So do that.
All right. Thanks for all your emails. Keep them coming.
Thanks so much.
We shall see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.